The video begins with an intimidating logo of Al-Qaeda. Next, we see a man in an empty room. Though the man is wearing a white turban and has a thick beard, his complexion is strangely fair, and he lacks the Middle Eastern accent common to many Muslims. But before we are distracted by his strange appearance, he bellows words that are too ominous to ignore. "No, my fellow countrymen, you are guilty! After decades of American tyranny and oppression, now it's your turn to die! Allah willing, the streets of America will run red with blood. And Allah willing, the magnitude and ferocity of what is coming your way will make you forget all about September 11th. Inflammatory speeches such as this caused this man to become the first American-born citizen to be charged with treason since World War II. He was one of the senior operatives of Osama bin Laden and the #1 spokesperson for anti-American propaganda. Not only was a $1 million reward offered for information leading to his arrest, he was also named one of the 7 most wanted terrorists by the FBI. His name is Adam Gadahn. But not only did this terrorist grow up in America, he was raised and educated in a Christian home. His journey from Christianity into the bloody ideology of radical Islamic terrorism is a story of loneliness, confusion, and eventually defiance. But his story isn't just a story, it's an admonition from history. We must avoid the mistakes Gadahn's father made if we are to avoid raising or becoming another Adam Gadahn. I learned about Adam by reading an article published by Adam's hometown newspaper, examining FBI files, and looking at a special by The New Yorker. And using these, we'll first examine Adam's father's life, then his own upbringing, and finally his full-blown rebellion. You see, Adam wasn't the first one to rebel. Decades earlier, a trend of generational defiance was set by his father. Though he later changed his name to Seth, Adam's father was actually born Philip Perlman to 2 secular Jews. While in school, Philip was known as a rebel. He ended up dropping out of school to continue music production and then married his girlfriend. Against his parents' wishes, he moved with his wife to a large, chillingly deserted 60-acre farm in Riverside County, California. It was here he discovered a startling fact. No farmers are interested in buying heavy metal music, so he had to make yet another switch and became a goat farmer selling meat to halal butchers in Los Angeles. At some point during the move, Philip claims to have become a Christian, and after this, he legally changed his name from Philip Perlman to Seth Gadahn, which means Gideon in Hebrew. From these turbulent changes emerged Seth's own unique version of Christianity. His life motto was live and let live, and he denied one of the most fundamental Christian beliefs, the Trinity. Somehow he still considered himself a Christian, and it was under his father's bizarre beliefs and a rebellious lifestyle that Adam Yochai Gadahn was born on September 1st, 1978. Adam bore a striking resemblance to me. Not only was he born in the same month, had multiple siblings, was homeschooled through high school, and in fact, he attended a homeschool co-op for 8 years. He even played on a baseball team for a year, though parents said he was terrible. Hopefully the resemblance between us stops there. But beneath this facade of normality lived a different Adam. When he was 15, he became obsessed with an obscure musical subculture known as death metal. Death metal is a contemporary form of music that combines heavy metal rock with screams and guttural-sounding lyrics. According to Spinoza Prozac, an adult friend of Adam's, death metal is a specialized extremist movement. Quote, a lot of death metal songs are about disease, especially the kind that strikes from within. Incapacitates you. There's no way for you to fight it. You have to wait for it to slowly absorb you. Sounds like a great pickup line, huh? Adam also realized what effect this demonic music had on his family and on his father. In an essay written after he eventually converted to Islam, he wrote, I'd become obsessed with demonic heavy metal music. My entire life became focused on expanding my musical collection. My relationship with my parents became strained. Don't miss this eerie portrait between father and son. Like his father in high school, Adam's a rebel with a dark, bushy beard. And where his father was interested in heavy metal, Adam takes it a step further with his demonic heavy metal music. And to cap it all off, at the end of high school, Adam also rejects life with his parents and moves in with his grandparents. It's clear that Adam didn't have a good relationship with his father. According to Richard Haught, a family friend, Seth complained about his son's unhealthy obsession with death metal and was unwilling to do anything about it. This created the distrust that would tear the relationship apart. You see, when Adam left home, his father didn't chase after him. He let him search on his own for meaning. And Adam ended up finding it in the worst possible place. After being rejected by his father, Adam in turn rejected his father's beliefs. Using his grandmother's computer, he went searching for a better religion and found discussions on Islam to be the most intriguing. He said, "I knew well that they were not the bloodthirsty, barbaric terrorists that the news media and televangelists paint them to be." Just years later, Adam would become one of the most bloodthirsty and barbaric terrorists the world had ever seen. At the age of 17, Adam converted to Islam and started attending his local mosque, where he met two Muslims named Hisham Diab and Khalil al-Deek. The father that was never there for Adam finally materialized in the form of these two men. They treated him like their son, taking him out for lunch, housing him in their apartment at their expense, and training him in the Middle Eastern culture. Unbeknownst to Adam, Diab and Deek were both wanted by the FBI for their overseas terrorist involvement. These dangerous men had found a willing pupil in the submissive Adam. Diab's ex-wife says that she overheard her husband telling Adam that he had to kill the kuffar, the non-believer. Days later, Adam got into a fight with one of his friends and was placed in jail for 2 days and ordered to 40 hours of community service. After Adam was released from jail, the police were notified to the fact that Adam had disregarded his hours of community service. As soon as a warrant was placed for his rearrest, Adam disappeared to Pakistan. His parents were told that he was just working as a journalist. However, 2 years later, all connection ceased. In the words of his father, he just faded. And according to Michael Rowe, the Gadon family's neighbor, Seth didn't even care. He was, quote, frustrated with the media attention and adamant that he hadn't seen his son in years and hadn't supported him in years. Halfway across the globe, Adam displayed a passion for his newfound extremism, publishing video after video condemning Americans to hell. He was part of a one-on-one brainstorming session with the mastermind behind 9/11, but was relatively unknown by the CIA until after the attack. But it became clear just how involved he was when almost every terrorist that was interrogated by the CIA would mention the same fearsome name, Azzam al-Amriki, or Adam the American. Several leads and videos later, Adam was officially charged with treason. Yet, according to a former al-Qaeda operative, though his video production made him wanted in America, his peers within al-Qaeda saw him as merely a speaker with little potential. Unlike many other stories, the story of Adam Gadon does not have a happy ending. While still working for al-Qaeda, he was killed in a drone strike near the Pakistan border on January 19th, 2015. He was hated by Americans, barely appreciated by those he worked for, and ignored by his father, who wanted little to do with him as possible. But the most tragic part of the story is that Adam died and is now in the same place that he so often threatened Americans with. What went wrong? How did a homeschooled Christian child living on a farm become one of the most wanted terrorists of the century? It seems apparent that the biggest reason Adam left the faith is because he was never firmly planted. It all started with his father's hypocrisy. He somehow expected Adam to listen to him when he had ignored his own father. Instead, Adam turned to a religion that offered him people that seemingly cared about him. The second main contributor to Adam's demise was the demonic music that turned Adam from an innocent boy into a hardened rebel. Not only did it introduce him to other dark influences, it ate away at his very soul. Adam's choices led to his own downfall. And finally, if Seth had taught biblical principles instead of his own propaganda, this story could have been different. Of course, Adam is ultimately responsible for his actions, without a doubt. But so many tragedies could be stopped if we only pointed each other to this Father, the Father who never fails his children.